Bill, team played two very tight, very close games in Florida. You came out with two losses by a total of 4 points. Your basic thoughts on the performance down there?
I thought we had some good moments. I mean, obviously, we all left very disappointed that we weren't able to win both games. But as you mentioned, against two very good teams, and hopefully we learned from some things and mistakes, and hopefully we'll get back after the holidays and be able to correct those things and get ready for conference play.
When you look generally at those two games and the two losses, was there one part of those two games that disappointed you, that maybe led mostly to not winning those games?
I thought physically we really competed in both games. I think from the mental aspect of the game, I thought we took a step backwards. Just in close games and in tight tight situations, making the correct decision and the correct read offensively. I didn't think we did as good a job, down in Florida as we have, done up here in some close games. So that was, an area that we addressed after the second game and something that we talked a little bit about. And obviously, when we get back, we have to clean that up.
Well, talking about that second game against Carthage, you had scouted them the night before, and it looked like you noticed, I'm sure, that they had turned the ball over 28 times, and it looked like you wanted to press them early, but since we couldn't make any shots, we couldn't press them. Does that make sense?
Without a doubt. I mean, I think we went into the game saying, okay, we're going to have to explore some pressure, just because watching the night before, like you said, Buffalo State was able to create turnovers and scoring opportunities, but those first 10, 12 minutes, I mean, we literally couldn't score, and so you found yourself down by quite a bit, and without being able to score or even get a dead ball situation to set up some press, we weren't able to do that. And I give our guys a lot of credit. I mean, being down 15 on the second game, we could have easily folded up, but they competed and got it back to a workable number at half, and we felt actually pretty comfortable at half, only being down, 2 possessions in a game where we didn't shoot it well at all the first 20 minutes. And, we kind of came out in the second half again and we're flat, and they went on a run again, and then we regrouped and, once again made a late run. But just even during our run late, some of the mental mistakes are things that we really have to clean up if we want to accomplish some of our goals here in the second semester.
Well, that second game against Carthage, probably Mike Garrow, your senior captain, had one of the worst games he's had in his career here. So if he scores even 10 points, you probably win by 4 or 5.
Yeah, I mean, Michael, certainly from an effort standpoint, I mean, he was competing. Yeah. He got, what I think were some really good looks. And he moved well without the ball, but once again, it was one of those situations where the ball did not fall. And over the last year and a half, I mean, he's been a plus 50% field goal shooter. So it was something that we certainly don't expect to see again.
Well, in those two games, did you find anything that might be an optimistic thing? What comes to my mind is I thought Leroy Hay did a nice job in that second game. Did you see some people show flashes of something that you're going to need down the road?
No, I think Leroy showed some things. In the second game, I thought Brandon Kaczynski, defensively in the first game, defending, their, preseason All-American. I thought, Brandon did an unbelievable job, defending him. So, once again, I think some of our forwards, stepped up and had glimpses or had moments. And with all of them, it's just a matter of growing and getting experience and then becoming consistent in their play. So I think those were some positives. I thought Brian Salzillo once again, continued to, demonstrate that he's just not a three-point shooter. I mean, both teams really smothered and keyed in on him, and I thought Brian did a great job moving without the basketball and getting inside the stripe, for either layups or mid-range pull-ups. And I thought once again he had 2 pretty solid games.
This team is so different than last year in terms of last year, every time down the floor, the ball went inside to Chris Robitaille. Now that doesn't, you're so young at the post that you've sort of gotten away from that, but maybe you don't want to get away from that. But that hasn't really developed yet, has it?
No, it hasn't developed, and it's something I think we need to continue to work on. And clearly, it's not going to be like it was last year, where Chris Robitaille was such a central figure in every possession. But we need to continue to work on our balance, and it can't be all perimeter. It has to, at some point, there's got to be some inside game, and I think we showed glimpses of that. In that second game against Carthage, in our comeback late, we had inside scoring from Hugh Lindo, and Brandon Yarborough scored. I mean, those were back-to-back possessions that we scored inside on, and I just think those guys just need to continue to evolve, and hopefully the second semester there'll be a little bit more consistency.
Well, since those games are out of region, whether you won those two or lost those two, if you look at the big picture, could it make that much an effect come the end of the year if you don't win the conference?
Well, I mean, I think clearly if you win those games, it's a big statement in the eyes of any committee. We wanted to go down there and challenge ourselves and play some out-of-region teams that are very, very well respected, across the country. And we did that. I think we showed that we could play with those teams. But right now I think we're a possession or two away from winning those games. And I think those are the things that we'll focus on when we come back after the holidays, and just say, we needed to get a little better, a little better defensively, a little better offensively, and just our decision making on both ends of the floor, was an area that I was concerned with, and thought that we had evolved into a better team, from a mental aspect. But I mean, we are young, and we're going to have some ups and downs as we grow, both as individuals and as a team.
Well, you talked about how you thought mentally you were beyond a certain point. Did the break for exams and the holidays sort of come at the worst possible moment? In other words, you're coming off the big win over at Island, you're 7-1, you're really picking up steam, and then you get that 2-week break.
No, I think it definitely hurt us. Just our attention to detail on both ends of the floor was not what it was. During that stretch, the Manhattanville tournament, on to Connecticut College, and then into the Rick game. We just we lost a little bit of that, and it was hard. You have one practice before you get on the plane and go down there, and then the practices down there with what was available was a little iffy, and we just never seemed to get focused, mentally, and but from a physical standpoint, I liked how we competed. We stepped up, and even when we got down, we continued to battle. And this group has proven to be a resilient group. Even when we get down by double digits, they're willing to come back and still compete. And late in both those games, we had some of our best defensive possessions that we've had all year. The North Central game, I think we had back-to-back 35-second violations from them, and we just really defended. So I think those were some positives, but just I think more consistency, from the mental aspect of the game, just decision making. We need to get better at if we want to be at the level that we expect to be.
But can that be a good thing when you look back on it at the end of the year, that you went down, took a trip, living in a hotel, a lot of distractions down there, and maybe that down the road could help the team handle that situation?
No, I agree. I mean, I think that's why you take those trips ultimately. Obviously, you want to win both games, but I think we grew as a team off the court. There's more of a connection there, and it was a good experience. I mean, it's something I think that we can go back on and talk about those things if we're in another close game in 2 weeks or 3 weeks, and we can say, okay, now we understand we didn't get it done against North Central or Carthage because of this. We're in this similar situation. Let's make sure we've addressed those concerns, and now two, in the heat of the next battle, I think we'll all have a better understanding of what we're trying to accomplish.
Well, last question, Bill. You're in the middle of a real tough stretch of the season, even though it's stretched out to a month long. I mean, you start with the Rhode Island game, and then you got these two, then you come back against Plymouth and you get into the heart of the conference schedule, then you got the defending national champion. Could these 5 games sort of define the season?
Well, because it's a 5-game stretch, obviously how you do is going to have an impact on the season. I don't know if they'll define them. I hope each and every game that will grow, and as we've always talked about, I mean, get a little better individually, a little better collectively, learn from each and every experience, each and every game, and I think this 5-game stretch is definitely going to help us, come the end of February when we need to be playing our best basketball. But clearly it's a stretch where we're challenging ourselves outside of the conference against some of the best teams in the country. But I think that's what our guys want, and they want to see how they stack up against the best. And these non-conference games are going to prepare us for the conference tournament and conference play. I mean, each and every game in our conference this season is going to be a battle.
Bill, thank you. Good luck the rest of the way.
Thank you.